Let's go through some examples, 8th graders, from, what lesson are we on? What lesson number is this? 3, 4, okay? We've been talking about labels and finding unit rates, where you are given a rate and you divide it so that the amount that you want, if you're finding the cost has to be on the top, okay? If you're finding from, for example, pounds, from ounces to pounds, you have to use a conversion factor that has pounds on the top of the line. And we're going to be talking about using conversion factors. It's the number that gets you to the subject that you want. Like number 13, if you're converting hours to minutes. Okay? And you're given that it's 8 hours. And you have to multiply it by something, and you want to convert it to what?
Minutes.
Minutes. So we're going to find this number called the conversion factor. Okay? If you want hours to minutes, then you have to have a factor of minutes to hours that equals 1. So what would that be?
60 minutes.
60 to
1 hour.
60 to 1 hour. 60 minutes to 1 hour. Oops, 1. Where do you have hours there? Right? If you're going from hours to minutes, then you have to have a conversion factor that has the minutes on the top and the hours on the bottom. And they are a ratio. They're a factor of that equal the same amount. Okay? So what does this tell you to do then, to figure it out? What operation would we use? Addition sign?
Oh, I can see that.
Multiply. 8 times 60 would give us?
480 minutes.
Good. You'll do the same thing when you're doing 14 and 15. And then let's look at number 16. We are solving proportions in this one. We're going to find an equal proportion to the one that's given. So if you're given that 5 is to 6, as C is to 9. So let's review how to solve this. What would we do? In an equal proportion, the cross products are equal. So the product of these two numbers equal the product of these two numbers. What's the product of 6 and C? Meaning, what is 6 times C?
6C.
6C, good. In algebra, that's just 6C. And that equals 5 times 9, 45. And then solve it.
65.
Yep. 5 goes side by 6. C equals 0.5.
7.5, he says.
Oh, 7.5. Good. Yep.
Yep, I got that.
Okay, good. What if you're do one like 22, where one of the proportions is negative. So 8 is to D as negative 12 is to 30. Where do you put the negative sign?
In space.
Say, it doesn't matter which number you use for the negative.
Just handle it right now and then put it on the answer.
Just put it on one of them. Just use the negative sign, but only with one of the numbers. So So negative 12b. And since we already used the negative sign, then keep this one positive. Only use the negative sign once, since there's one negative sign. What's 8 times 30?
240.
Yep, because 8 times 3 is 24. So 8 times 30 is 240. Add the 0. Divide by negative 12.
And b equals negative 20.
Okay. Questions on that?
No.
Number 24. Here's a word problem. These are really important, really helpful in life, because you're going to be given situations where you have to solve a proportion like this. A canary's heart beats 200 times in 12 seconds. Or 200 beats in 12 seconds. And then we're going to find out, we're going to set up a proportion. Now, when you're setting up a proportion, you keep the labels on the same level. So you're going to find seconds and times. But instead of 12 seconds, you're going to find it in what? 42 seconds. How many times in 42 seconds? T over 42. You'll do the same thing for 25. Set up a proportion that has the labels on the same level, and then solve it. Okay? All right, that's your assignment.
24, 25.